Hey everybody. Okay, so I'm joined with Keyara Wardley. She's an Olympic athlete, Olympic rugby player from Vulcan, Alberta. Keyara, thanks for taking a minute to come and chat with me. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, Keyara, I've been doing some profiling of athletes in the Karsten Siksika constituency to try to shine a light on some of the tremendous accomplishments that athletes do have around this area. It's a pretty big area, so lots of athletes, but you've done
Right.
some amazing things in recent times. So, tell me a little bit about uh, you know, how you got into rugby. Like, there's a lot of sports people can play in this country. You picked.
Yeah.
Tell me about your journey there. How'd you get started?
Yeah, actually rugby wasn't my first sport of choice. I did dance for about 14 years and I thought I was going to take that as far as I could, and I got into I think grade 7, and then I fell in love with volleyball, so then I wanted to, go as far as I could with volleyball. Um and my brother actually, I needed an off-season sport to volleyball, which is usually in this fall time. So I started. It was either between rugby and softball, and my brother and my phys ed coach told me that I should play rugby. So I tried it, and I honestly wasn't in love with it. I really wanted to stick with volleyball. Um, but I continued that throughout my whole high school career. And I think it was grade 12 came around and I started playing. Well, I played one game of sevens, which is completely different from, like the traditional 15s rugby. And I absolutely just fell in love. There was, I mean, 7 people on each side. There was lots of space to run, not as much contact, that's kind of what drew me in. Um, and then yeah, I wanted to see, the comparison between volleyball and rugby, and that it just led me out to the national team. I did a little tryout there and I absolutely fell in love, and the rest is pretty much history.
Okay, so actually, that's kind of segment into one of the segues into a question I had. Like Olympic team, national team, like that's quite a jump. So when did you know that that rugby wasn't just like a summer sport for you anymore? When did you know that, like, okay, like I could play on the Olympics? Was it a scouting program? Was it a junior team you're on? Did you just kind of say, hey, there's a tryout, I'll go? How did that work?
Yeah, we I mean, in Vulcan we have our Star Trek tournament, which is rugby, baseball, softball, I believe. And some of the scouts from Rugby Canada were in somewhere around Vulcan, and they ended up coming to the tournament to watch a game. And I think I made a 60-meter try or something, and they wanted to chat to me after that game. So talked to them. They invited me out to a camp. I think I was shaking pretty much because I didn't think, from a small town, it's hard to, get recognized unless you're traveling quite a ways. So I think it was amazing just to have someone in Vulcan to see you play on your home field. And then, yeah, I went up to Victoria. That's where the team is centralized. And yeah, I went up to Victoria, try out there. My mom actually came with me. And I think it was day 1 of it. And at the end of the day, I went to my mom and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is like, I can go to the Olympics with this, because that was my dream as a little girl, is to make the Olympics and play in the Olympics. And that year of 2016, rugby sevens was implemented into the Olympics. And I think that's just what made me fall in love even more, is that I could be an Olympic athlete playing rugby.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you talked a little bit about sevens, and you did touch a bit about the difference. So
Yeah.
fewer players in the field. How does that change the requirements from you as a player? Like, I've seen rugby players, and rugby players who are men, and they're just massive, like
Yeah.
huge guys. But like, do you have to be faster playing sevens? Is there a different kind of strategy involved? And you're talking to a guy who doesn't know a lot about rugby. My
Okay.
sister-in-law played rugby. Her sister, Brittany Orr, played rugby. I think she played with some
Okay.
good stuff. And so,
Yeah.
like, they talked to me about it, but I don't know a ton. So sevens
Right.
versus regular, where's the difference in strategy, skill set required, all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to a lot of people and they're like, oh, rugby 15s, rugby sevens are like the same thing. But they're, like you said, they're completely different. 15s, you're playing, 15 aside. So there's 30 people on the field playing each other at one time. And usually I think the games are 80 minutes. So you have two 40-minute halves, which is quite a bit of rugby. And that compared to sevens, I mean, there's only 7 aside, so 14 on the field at a time, and you're only playing 14 minutes, so 7-minute halves. So it's completely different in a sense. I feel sevens is a lot faster, and anything could happen at a time. There's not a lot of contact, whereas 15s, it's like you're really hitting up the field. There's 30 people playing, so it's pretty tough. It's a really hard sport, for sure. But I think sevens is a lot more fitness inquired. Like you're pretty much running the whole 14 minutes. So I mean, you are in 15s. Don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but I think sevens is just a lot faster paced.
Okay. Well, yeah. And I know there's a sevens tournament coming up in Edmonton here pretty soon, actually.
Yeah. The men's series is doing a tournament in Vancouver and Edmonton in the next couple weeks. So that'll be awesome for people to go out. And I mean, with 15s, you're playing one game a day, whereas sevens, you can play up to 3. So in a tournament, watching, I think there's 12. Oh, I'm actually not too sure for the men's series, but I'm pretty sure there's 12 teams that will be playing at the tournament. So it's pretty much one game happens, you're watching that for 14 minutes, you have a maybe 2-minute break, and then the next team comes out. So it's
you're just bang, 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 you're just going at it.
For sure. Yeah. Sevens is a lot of fun. And I think the more people can go out to Edmonton or Vancouver and watch some sevens, I think that'd be awesome. And we actually are putting in a team. I think World Rugby is calling it the Fast Four tournament for the women's, because we don't have any sort of World Series tour until December in Dubai. So this is just a good prep for our team and the other that'll be coming for the women.
Okay. So you're going to come up to Edmonton for the sevens? Just come watch?
No, I won't be able to. Unfortunately, I wish I could, though.
That's too bad. Okay. So I want to change gears here for a second, talk a little bit about the Olympics. So, there's lots of, the time difference makes it hard to watch it a lot.
For
so
sure.
I didn't get to watch as much as I would have liked. I have 3 kids, and so they kind of they sort of get me exhausted by the end of the day. Love them. So there's a lot of stories coming out about like the village, and every country does the villages differently, right? And so Tokyo, they had like self-driving cars, and like there was talk about like cardboard beds. Like, what was the village like? What was your experience in the village?
It was amazing. I think the people of Japan and all the volunteers that put in, behind the scenes work, I think they did an amazing job to try and make, the village, the venues as normal as possible with COVID going around. But just the atmosphere in the village, you're in one area with, the top athletes in the world. I think that's just such an amazing feeling that you're there. And I felt so like it was so surreal. And we, like, every country had their own kind of apartment, and we had our own. And that in itself was just amazing. And being with a team, I think for me, that is what made the Olympic experience just that much better, is that you're with an amazing team, amazing group of girls that we put in for the Olympics, and just spending time with each other every day. I think that was the highlight for sure of my games. But like you said, the cardboard beds, that was a thing, and they actually weren't too bad. It's as weird as that sounds, they were pretty comfortable. And yeah, everything was like eco-friendly. There's, self-driving buses that went around. There was bikes available for us to use, because for me, I was like, oh yeah, like we'll be walking a lot a day, but you're really putting out, I don't know, 15 to 20K a day for just steps. And that doesn't even include what you're doing for training. So just having things, like the bikes and the buses that go around, I think that was just an amazing thing to add to the Olympics, just so you're not, draining yourself by walking to the dining hall, 3 times a day.
So, okay, I have to ask about that. So there's all kinds of talk about the dining hall, open 24 hours. I mean, seeing pictures or videos, it looks massive. And
Yeah.
I I don't know if you've seen, I do a lot of like these kind of 1 by 2 cents challenge videos where I try local food in the constituency and, kind of
Okay.
just review it. So
Right.
I'm not a foodie by any stretch. I'm like a burgers and chicken fingers pizza kind of a guy,
Yeah.
but I understand this cafeteria is massive. It has all kinds of food on the world. Like, tell me about the cafeteria. Where was your favorite place to eat?
Yeah. So when you first walk in, there was kind of like the bottom dining floor, and then there was actually an upstairs, so you could go up the escalator, and there was like a whole another upstairs, and it was massive. I think like the first day, a few of the girls and I went to the top floor just to see what was going on, and there was like literally all kind of food you could think of was there. So that was amazing. And sometimes, I mean, you're obviously in a village with tons of athletes. So at times there was like, it was pretty jam packed, but the volunteers were really good at kind of organizing everything. There was wait times. I think there was an app that you could see, like how many people were in there, what the wait times would be for food, all that kind of thing. And there's actually a separate building, and that was for, I can't remember the name of it now, but that was pretty much just like Japanese cuisine and like all you could eat Japanese food. And that was amazing. I think we went there quite a bit. I think that was probably my highlight compared to, the dining hall. But for me, I'm a big pasta girl. So I was definitely going to the dining hall quite a bit to load up on some pasta. But yeah, we tried to get into that Japanese cuisine building as much as we could because that food was amazing.
That's awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
I've heard rumors. Was there McDonald's in there?
I don't think so.
There wasn't?
I
Okay.
don't think
McDonald's
so.
is a big sponsor. I'd heard rumors that there's a McDonald's in there. Okay.
If I missed it, I'd be so upset.
To say like McDonald's, because I guess you just go in, just get food, right? Like it's not like you just, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
that's exactly it.
okay. So the village was awesome. I mean, I can only imagine being surrounded by the highest caliber athletes in the world at one time.
Yeah,
Uh, and you're over there playing sevens and you get hurt. This is right. This is correct. Tell me a little bit about your injury. What happened?
yeah. Second game, we were playing Fiji. I think it was in second half, maybe 2 minutes left of the game, and I ended up going on a Y line, and I stepped on the back of foot, and unfortunately my hip subluxed, and I went down, and I went to the hospital, found out I had an os abutabuli fracture. And that was, the end of my Olympic dream. But it was, I mean, yeah, bittersweet, very heartbreaking. But I think in that moment, I just was thinking, how could I support the girls? I'm not able to play anymore, but I do want to make this experience really good for them. I don't want to, drag them down in any way that being injured. But yeah, I ended up just being in my room all day because I couldn't, walk anywhere. And that was definitely hard, but I'm still so proud of myself for working as hard as I did to make the Olympics and play in that first and second game. So yeah, it's very bittersweet, but I am very proud of myself.
I think you should be. You play a team sport and you helped your team get there. You helped your team while you were there, whether it's on the field or off the field.
Mm.
Whether it's just kind of emotional support, and you should really be proud. I don't like to speak for anybody else, but for myself, I can tell you, I'm very proud of how you conducted yourself. And,
Thank
you know,
you.
reading about what you were doing over there and how well you were doing, and certainly cut short by injury. It's heartbreaking, but you know, I can only imagine you have a very bright future, and you know, hopefully another Olympics ahead of you if you want to.
Thank you
So
so
so you have the injury now. You're obviously rehabilitating. Like, what's next steps for you? Like, is it just rest? Is it rehab? Are you going to do some school? Are you going to just kind of take it easy for a bit? You said you're kind of relaxing this weekend. What's kind of like the 3 week, 3 month, 3 year plan for you?
Yeah, I think, as soon as my injury happened, my mom actually came out to Victoria when we started flying home, and I think just to be around family was my number one goal, and to be home now and spending time with my family. I think that's the most important to me. And I mean, rest and recovery is also important, but just to be home and in that, nobody around me is gonna judge me. No one is like expecting anything from me. So I think that was just a huge goal of mine, is just to get home and see my family. But upcoming, I definitely want to get some school in. We do have a bit of a break until we're centralized back in Victoria again. So I think school is probably an option for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just to take as much rest as I can and be healthy, both physically, mentally. I think just prioritizing myself right now is my goal for the next 3 months, 2 to 3 months. And then as soon as I'm back on my feet, ready to go again, I'm gonna be out in Victoria again, training and putting my best foot forward for this upcoming season, and doing what I can to make the next Olympics. So there's a bit of work to do, a lot of recovery that needs to get in. So I'm, just playing it by ear for right now, but
Sure.
definitely within the next 3 years, I'm hoping to be at the next Olympics.
Well, I'm certainly hoping for you as well. I think athletes are horrible at resting.
We are.
Athletes are not good at, when the trainer or the doctor says, hey, you need to take some time. I think
Yeah.
athletes start, the wheels start turning, thinking, okay, so my leg is injured, but my upper body's still good. I
Yeah.
can still do like other exercises.
No kidding.
And or it's like, if you get a concussion, I've had a couple of those.
Yeah.
There's no wait time for that. It's just kind of hurry up and wait, right? So
Yeah.
I can only imagine what's going through your mind as someone who is probably moves 100 miles a minute is now being told to just rest. That's got to be super hard.
Yeah, it is super hard. I mean, every year we get a couple weeks off for summer or a week at Christmas. So I think my body's pretty used to just resting, for 2 weeks. But as soon as that 2 weeks is up, I'm like, okay, let's
You go.
go hard, start running again and all that stuff. But, like with a hip injury, I'm pretty limited to quite a lot. So I think the next couple weeks are going to be hard, because at this point, like, I've been home for, I think, 2.5, 3 weeks. So I think right now I'm just itching to get out and start running and moving, but I
Yeah.
can't. So unfortunately, but I have been working with, a lot of physio and doing or putting out options of what I can be doing. So the pool is going to be my best friend for the next couple months. So, I
Welcome
mean,
to the pool. Mind you, outdoor.
yeah, I mean, it's still, yeah, that pool is beautiful. It's amazing what the Lions Club did there. But
Totally.
yeah, like you said, it's hard not to be doing anything and actually rest. It's really tough, but I'm sure I'll get through it somehow.
I don't doubt you will. I'm sure you're gonna land on your feet and absolutely pulling for you for the next Olympics. So okay, so I got some other questions for you, a little bit out of the box. As an athlete, I'm sure you kind of have people you've looked up to or kind of idolized, whether it's in your sport or others. Who was kind of maybe you can use the word inspiration, or just someone you watch and say, I want to mimic their training regimen, or I want to be like them, and how much they dedicate themselves. Tell me a little bit about who is that for you?
It's actually my brother. He plays hockey, professional hockey in the States right now, and I think just watching him grow and going into the WHL, I think just knowing how he trained and he got to where he was, I think that was like a huge push for me to actually fulfill my Olympic dream. And when I found sevens, like my brother's a huge inspiration to me, and just training wise, I think I just want to be like him. But in the rugby world, I think our captain Ghislaine, I know ever since 2016 and watching them go onto the field, like running onto the field in the Olympics, she was a huge inspiration for me, and just looking up to her and being able to train with her on a daily basis and go to this Olympics with her, I think that was just a huge push for me to be the best athlete that I could. And training beside the best, we have 21 back in Victoria and they're all amazing athletes. So just to be in a space with them training and pushing ourselves to be better, I think my whole team is an inspiration to me. And I don't think I really would have pushed as hard as I could, over the past 4.5 years I've been out there. I think my team is, the biggest inspiration to me.
Well, that says a lot about you, that you value family and your team that much. That's a great quality. So I have a couple more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. I know you got lots of stuff going on. Okay. There are 4 people on Mount Rushmore. Who's your Canadian sports Mount Rushmore?
Oh my goodness. That's a tough question.
I know. I asked the hard ones here. You got to know if you're gonna have an interview.
Yeah.
With me, I'm gonna ask the tough questions.
Gotta make me think.
Now, I'm throwing this one on you. I'm gonna give you my 4. Okay.
Okay.
And maybe a 5th, but I think you got to put Gretzky on there. I think you got to put Steve Nash on there. I think Christine Sinclair's got to be on there.
Yeah.
And then you start going down the list. You got to pick between like Terry Fox or Silken Laman or Donovan Bailey. That's where it starts getting tough for me. But those first 3, I think, have to be on there.
Okay. I definitely think, yeah, like you said, for sure, Christine Sinclair. I think Brittany Ben, she's on my team. I would have to have her. She's my outdoor expertise. Oh Lord. I don't know. My mom's in the background saying, it's me. So
That's a good answer, though. Putting your mom on there. I think a lot of the unsung heroes are the parents of the athletes. So, like Walter Gretzky could be on there because, you know what I mean? But so, okay. So maybe we'll just, there's a lot. Maybe it's hard to do your 4.
It is.
But that's actually fascinating, some of the names you threw out there. Okay. So move on. Best movie of all time.
Oh, I'm like a sappy romantic movie lover. I think like my favorite movie of all time is Safe Haven. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've watched so many amazing movies, but that continues to be my number one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, Apple Music or Spotify?
Apple Music.
What's playing? If I took your phone right now and press play on the Apple Music, what's playing?
Silo Nasra. He's a new artist. Well, new to me. I think I am probably annoying my mom when I say that. I've been playing repeat for the past 3 weeks that I've been here. So definitely Silo Nasra is my go-to right now.
What is our job as children if not to annoy our parents?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 4 brothers and a sister, and that has been our lifelong goal and continues to be that. We actually got together not that long ago, and it was just like we never missed a beat. Audiobooks or podcast?
Podcast.
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts?
No.
Okay. I don't listen to a ton of them, but like there are a couple that I like to listen to. And so if someone
Yeah.
listens to podcasts and really gets into them, I tell them, hey, like, what should I get into? There's one I quite like, but is it acceptable for adults to take naps?
Yes.
Good answer.
100%.
That's a very good answer.
Yes.
Crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Oh, I love crunchy. You can't go wrong with a crunchy peanut butter.
Solid answer. I like it. I like it
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot else for you, but I will ask. So you're going to keep pushing at this. You're going to keep playing rugby. You're going to get over this injury. Olympics in 3 years here. You're pushing for that. Like, you're just going to get some rest now. You know, if there's what else should we know before we let you go? What else should we know that we don't know about Keyara Wardley that the world needs to know right now? Because trust me, there are millions of people going to watch this.
Oh, two things. I'm a huge candy lover.
Oh,
So,
okay. Sour or regular?
sour.
Excellent. What's
Yeah.
your favorite kind of candy then? I love candy.
I love.
In fact, I'm sitting here right here with these Sour
Oh
Patch.
my gosh, my mouth is watering.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with a good fuzzy peach or the peach rings.
That's a classic.
But if we're going, I mean, I love dino sours too. They're not, like the actual.
Costco?
Yes.
Yes.
My favorite. So I'm listening.
I have one's at my desk, and it's always gone when I come back for session because all the staff just go in and make you dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think dino sours are my go-to candy. So anyone listening, if you go to Costco, get that big bag of dino sours. Drop it off at the pharmacy with my mom. That'd be great. But
you might just get that.
Right? A lot of people don't know. Well, I mean, my teammates know, my family knows, but a lot of people don't know that I actually do not like chocolate. Like I do not eat chocolate at all. I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just like a taste thing, or like something like
tasting, the smell of it.
Experience when you were younger, like what happened?
I mean, I do have a pretty big sweet tooth, so when I was younger, I would always eat chocolate, but I don't know, maybe I traumatized myself of how much I ate of it, but I can't stand the smell of chocolate anymore. Taste or
you can't even have like chocolate cereal, like Nesquik cereal?
No, nothing.
Do you cereal?
I do. Fruit Loops are my go-to.
Yeah. This morning. Solid. Yeah. Well, Keyara, this has been awesome. I want to thank you so much. First, I want to thank you for representing Canada like you did. You're all class. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot. The people of this constituency in this province, I know, are so proud of you and how well you've represented us and how well you've dealt with this injury. That shows a ton of character. Me personally, I love the fact that we have such high caliber athletes right in Cardston Siksika, and I'm going to keep shooting these videos and visiting with them because I think it's a great chance to show that sports helps people develop in all different ways. Like I know I didn't have a job when I was going to university. I was on scholarship playing basketball, and my life was crazy, but I had to learn time management. I had to learn, the skills to deal with problem solving, even on the fly. And I know you get that same stuff as well. And just hope people know that, there's more to athletes than just being athletes, than just being competitors. It's a big part of our lives. Like I said, as a former athlete, I say that, but you clearly in this interview have shown that you are an incredible person with some great character and so much about you. And I'm just glad you took the time to sit down and we can chat. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, take care.